He needs new talking points. He can't. He can do nothing on this. You want to know something really sad for the Republican Party? At the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break. It's really sad for everybody, not just the Republican Party. And if you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe, which you can do for $5 or free with a Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. Okay? Here's a 3-minute ad break now. Okay. What's really sad for the Republican Party's state of affairs, okay? Let me tell you something. What's really sad about the situation is that this is the best messaging they have. It only gets worse. It only gets worse from this point on. Donald Trump tries to say, oh, well, we need to have a conversation, states' rights. And he tries to hand wave away the abortion conversation. The rest of them, with the exception of Nikki Haley, literally either have implemented really strict regulation in their states like Ron DeSantis, or Mike Pence, who advocates for a federal ban on abortion. So it goes way worse than this. At least on the messaging front, Donald Trump is the only one who's like recognizing, other than Nikki Haley, that this is a major problem for the Republican Party's future. Okay? But it's only a major problem if the liberal institutional Democrats and the liberal media, mainstream media, actually fucking hold them accountable. If you let them hand wave away and go, oh, well, you know, Democrats want to kill the baby, like shit like that. If you don't shove that fucking rhetoric back down his gullet, then what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? You're not doing your job, and you're misinforming the American public. It's so fucking annoying.
This question,
listen,
please.
You're asking me a question. What's going to happen is you're going to come up with a number of weeks or months. You're going to come up with a number that's going to make people happy, because 92% of the Democrats don't want to see abortion after a certain period of time.
If a federal ban landed on your desk, if you were reelected, would you sign it at 15
Are you
weeks?
talking about a complete ban?
A ban at 15 weeks?
Well, people are starting to think of 15 weeks. That seems to be a number that people are talking about right now.
Would you sign that?
I would sit down with both sides and I'd negotiate something, and we'll end up with peace on that issue for the first time in 52 years.
Look at that. One, there was already peace on the issue. So that part is a lie. But remember, look at him trying to fucking triangulate. That's why I have the Edamentum tweet. He's moderating for the general election. That is precisely what's going on. Okay? That's what he's doing. I told you that he was going to do this. I told you that he had always had a very interesting answer for the abortion question, because he has to, because he knows it's very fucking unpopular. Because, as Jimberly Esquire is correctly pointing out, abortions are healthcare. Abortions keep women from dying. Abortions keep fetuses from suffering. Abortions keep mothers from having to watch a baby die in their arms. It is fucking insane that this is not seen as like a medical necessity or a medical procedure that women should be able to get when they need to, when they choose to do so, and instead a hot button political conversation. It's so fucking dumb. And not only is it so fucking dumb that in spite of the media's deliberate attempts at trying to turn this into a divisive issue, it's not. Republican women get abortions. It's not. It's not divisive. Because if it was a fucking democratically voted on process, all of these fucking ballot measures would not be unironically driving more people out to go out and vote in special elections, dog. People hate voting in America. They don't believe in their fucking government. The one time they vote is to literally defend their fucking civil liberties. And when they're given an opportunity to defend their civil liberties, they're like, oh, fuck, I'm going to go out and vote. I have to do this now. Like, I don't give a shit, but I have to go out and vote. And then they do. And so much so, and they do it in such a fucking obvious way that now they're trying to fucking take off the abortion. They're trying to take off the abortion restriction or abortion access provisions from fucking ballot measures all around the country because the Republican Party is comprised of terrorists, okay? They are psychopathic, bloodthirsty terrorists who have no interest in democracy. And if you literally think that they are even remotely interested in democracy, at least the Democrats that don't like democracy posture like they care about democracy. Neither side cares. It's bourgeois democracy. But at least one side fucking postures like they give a shit. The other side literally tells you it's not a democracy. Shut the fuck up. If you are still at this point, like, trying to advocate for the Republican Party, I don't know what to do to you. I don't know what to say to you. You are the biggest fucking baboon on the planet. Oh. And the worst part about it is that liberals do a horrible job at even fucking defending it. Democrats are so bad. They can't even turn around and make, like, propaganda off of something that they're supposed to. Fuck.
I'm not going to say I would or I wouldn't. I mean, DeSantis is willing to sign a 5-week and 6-week ban.
Would you support that? You think that
I think what he did is a terrible thing and a terrible mistake. But we'll come up with a number. But at the same time, Democrats won't be able to go out in 6 months, 7 months, 8 months and allow an abortion. And Kristen, you have to look at this because you said no.
He's right.
You have some states.
He's right. He said what DeSantis is a terrible job. Now that's great. Because on the one hand, he can say that now because it gets the shit on Ron DeSantis. And on the other hand, he can literally look like the moderate, reasonable one in comparison to Ron DeSantis.
States that are allowed to kill the child after birth, and you can't allow that.
But, Mr. President, again, no one is calling for a child to be killed after birth. No one's calling for that.
But you have legislation.
But let me just ask you.
Listen, you have legislation in certain states where it's allowed.
Mr. President.
The governor of Virginia, previous governor.
It's illegal in every state. It's illegal in every state. It's illegal in every state. It's bullshit. It is illegal in every state. It's called murder and it's illegal. He's not right. This is not a correct statement. What the fuck is happening, dude? You can't just fucking make shit up. He's making shit up on television. No, it's not. The governor thing was also fucking bullshit, okay? The governor VA story is also bullshit. It was a meme because America is that fucking stupid. A meme misquotes Virginia Governor Ralph Northam on a proposed abortion bill that aims to address non-viable pregnancies and severe fetal abnormalities. Northam, a pediatric neurologist, supports the bill, but the meme falsely implies he condones infanticide. That's it. That's where we're at, man. It's a fucking made-up meme calling him, the governor of Virginia, a baby killer. The infant would be delivered, kept comfortable, then terminated, is the quote. Then behind Northam, here, let me see if I can find the actual meme so you see how fucking stupid we are as a society. Here, this is it. You want to see the fucking meme? This is the meme. That's where this started. In a radio interview on January 30th, 2019, Northam was questioned on his views regarding the bill. The governor was interviewed after comments made by Virginia delegate Kathy Tran on the bill's sponsor went viral online. Northam was asked to respond to Tran on the bill on the Virginia radio station. When we talk about third trimester abortions, it's done in cases where there may be severe deformities. There may be a fetus that is non-viable, Northam said. If a mother is in labor, I can tell you exactly what would happen. The infant would be delivered. The infant would be kept comfortable. The infant would be resuscitated if that's what the mother and the family desired. and then a discussion would ensue between the physicians and the mother. Mother, what am I doing? I'm fucking turning into Irish. This is a non-viable fetus, okay? Pregnancy terminations on the third trimester only happen to non-viable fetuses that have severe complications for the carrier. What he's describing is what the current medical process is for a non-viable fetus. That's it. But once again, Americans are so fucking stupid that we turn around and we look at a medical process and someone describes it with gruesome terms, because that's what medicine really is. In a lot of instances, medicine is gruesome if you describe it. Okay? Describe to someone how open heart surgery works, and like these goddamn idiots would fucking want to ban that too. Okay? Like, imagine you're breaking through someone's rib cage. You're cutting their skin. You're moving their fucking fat around. You're breaking their goddamn rib cage, okay? Specifically so you can arrive at their fucking heart, which you are going to make careful incisions with, okay? Inside of. Like, think about that. We're mutilating somebody like that, right? Yeah, it's gross. It's gross. If society operated on the boundaries of what the dumbest person thinks is gross and scary, we would have no fucking medicine. We need to ban doctors, brother. What the fuck are they doing? And honestly, that's where we're moving towards right now. That is the direction that we're heading towards, honestly. So it's great. It's going to get to a point where it's like only rich people, like the mega wealthy in like certain enclaves, are going to be able to fucking get any kind of medicine whatsoever. Now, we're already there with paywalling healthcare, obviously, but like they're going to make it illegal. If you're a working class person, it's illegal for you to even see a doctor, okay? Yeah, Elysium. We're going to take all the doctors, we're going to ship them out to fucking space. And you can't have any. And then there's going to be idiots that are standing outside of like secret medical facilities where they're operating on people, and they're going to be protesting and trying to kill the doctors inside. You know what I mean? Because they're doing devil work. The only way to save someone is not by fucking, getting any kind of medicine, is by worship. Is by worship.
Who was a whack job. I call him the Michael Jackson governor.
No one's talking about that
governor,
as part of their platform. I want to know what
that governor said you can kill the baby after birth.
But Mr. President, this is about what you would do if you were reelected. As you know, you upset
we
some
will agree to a number.
Yeah, if he's a fucking pediatric surgeon, by the way. I didn't know that. He's a pediatric neurologist. Trump should be like, well, he's a pediatric neurologist. He's touched baby dicks. Arrest them. You know what they're doing, folks, in pediatric surgery? They're touching your children. That's right. Think about it. He's opening up and mutilating your child. He's mutilating your child in the brain, directly going into his brain and changing his thoughts. Your naked child, he's touching him. And then he derives profit. He gets profit out of touching your child and touching his brain, putting his hands all over your child's brain.
Number of weeks, which will be where both sides will be happy. We have to bring the country together on this issue.
Mr. President, when you talk about negotiating, I think a lot of people think to themselves, this is an issue that they care about
I
deeply
care about it
in
too.
their hearts.
Oh, I care
and they
about it
know
too.
where they stand, and they want to know where you stand. As you know, some anti-abortion groups are really looking for some clarity from you. So let me just ask you to put a fine point on this. Should the federal government impose any abortion restrictions, or should it be completely left up to the states?
No, I don't think you should be allowed to have abortions well into a pregnancy.
But what about the question I just asked
you? No, we're going to agree to a number of weeks or months or however you want to define it. And both sides are going to come together, and both sides, and this is a big statement, both sides will come together, and for the first time in 52 years, you'll have an issue that we can put behind us.
At the federal level?
Bro, that's such a crazy take, because it's like, if this was such a contentious issue where there are two different sides of this debate, then like Amy Covid Barrett wouldn't have had to lie in a congressional hearing. And Brett Kavanaugh wouldn't have had to lie in a congressional hearing that they will not overturn Roe v. Wade. Like, why did they choose to lie about it then? And said they were like, oh, this is all settled. We're not touching that. I don't get it. I thought it was not settled. I thought it was not, you know. I thought it was so contentious that Amy Covid Barrett was like, oh, we'll never touch it.
It could be state or it could be federal. I don't frankly care.
So you're not committed to a ban at the federal
level? I will say this. Everybody, including the great legal scholars, love the idea of Roe v. Wade terminated so it be brought back to the states.
It sounds like that's what you think, too, that it should remain a state issue.
I would say this. From a pure standpoint, from a legal standpoint, I think it's probably better, but I can live with it either way. It's much more important. The number of weeks is much more important. But something will happen with the number of weeks, the amount of time.
He doesn't look strong on this, though, which is kind of interesting, because being non-committal to the thing that you did while simultaneously, trying to, I think being non-committal to the thing that you literally helped accomplish is going to look weak on both ends, I think. Like for the anti-abortion crowd, the pro-lifers, they're going to look at this and go like, what is he trying to say? We want a fucking federal ban. Fuck you. And to the pro-choice crowd, he's already the devil, so I don't think they're going to think he's like actually fucking in support of like reasonable legislation.
Time after which you can't do it. And you know what? The most powerful people that are anti-abortion are okay with that now. And you know what? They weren't okay with that even a year ago.
Your former Vice President, Mike Pence, believes that a fetus should have constitutional rights. Do you believe that, Mr.
Well,
President?
Mike Pence said something about 15 weeks, too, which was a big change for Mike Pence because Mike Pence had no exceptions. I have exceptions, by the way. I think people should have exceptions. I think if it's rape or incest or the life of the mother, I think you have to have exceptions.
Does a fetus have constitutional rights, Mr. President?
And a lot of people, when they don't have exceptions. Now, I will tell you that I think most people, most Republicans are willing. You go life of the mother, rape, incest. I think most of them are there.
But should a fetus have constitutional rights, Mr. President?
Well, I don't know.
I'm going to lose my fucking mind. Bro, if this sticks and people are just like repeating that Trump actually just wanted an argument, he just wanted a discussion around abortion, and like Republicans start championing this, I will die. I will cease to exist because I will go for a service weapon. You know what I mean? Like I like the first one that I land my eyes on. Okay. I will perish. Like, this is such a fucking stupid, exceptionally stupid fucking argument to make. Oh, my God. Oh, my Lord.
I don't know what he's saying, because before he wanted, you couldn't have abortion.
But what are you saying?
Now all of a sudden,
what do you think?
excuse me, now all of a sudden he's saying 15 weeks. I said, wow, where did that come from? That's a radical change. Look, something is going to happen.
Look, how much certainty he has when speaking out against further restrictions on abortion. Like, he literally is like, no, that's crazy. But when asked, like, okay, what's your point? Why did you do this? He's like, oh, well, I didn't do it. I wanted a conversation around it. It's like, it was 50-50. It's like, no, it wasn't. Fuck you. And if you thought it was 50-50, you'd be defending it. Your support is like always been, your approval rating was always 30%. You made it seem like it was 100%. You know what I mean? It would never stop.
That's going to be good for everybody. And that's what I'm almost like a mediator in this case. They wanted Roe v. Wade terminated because it was inappropriate. We got it done. Something's going to happen. It's going to be a number of weeks. Something's going to happen where both sides are going to be able to come together. And then we'll be able to go into other things like the economy, our military.
Are you saying a federal ban with exceptions? Is that what you're saying?
What I say is very simple, because you can't put words in my mouth like that.
I
Because
just
you've been
wanna
hearing me talk
understand.
about this issue, and
Yeah.
I think talk about it very productively. It could be a state ban. It could be a federal ban. But
Yeah, this is real bad for him. Like, real bad. Actually, unironically, real bad. It's just like, it was going to be bad for everybody. And I've been wondering what his, like, counter was going to be, because he's the guy who is the best at reading the fucking room. And sometimes you can be good at reading the room, but the room is still booing at you. You know what I mean? He's stuck in a fucking bind, you know? With not much to do. How much do the evangelicals care? Brother, you think evangelicals are enough to make you president? If that was the case, Trump would have been president. Outside of like super fucking Christian fundamentalists, which make up 30% of the population, 25% to 30% of the population, no one in the United States of America is like, yeah, you should literally not let people get abortions. Like, we should criminalize it. No one. It's not a real thing. Think about it this way, okay? Abortion in general happens in the first trimester, especially so, right? Do you know that many people that are like, no, abortion is murder, actually, across the board? And if you know that many people, like, have you ever had conversations with them where they like explain their fucking opinions? Now think about how many people you know that literally think like, no, fucking let people get abortions. Like, shut the fuck up. You say, yes, my entire family, but statistically speaking, it is significantly less likely to come up with a person that is anti-abortion, even in red states, and it is pro-abortion. Not even in the state of Florida. You're wrong. People are saying state of Florida. That's not true. No. Absolutely not. You have to be in a hyper-religious fucking space in order for people to have this kind of take on abortion. It's not represented by the public. It has never been represented by the public. Republicans still get abortions. Like, it's just fucking nuts.
Democrats want that too. Democrats don't want to see abortion in the 7th month. Okay, I speak to a lot of Democrats. They want a number. There is a number, and there's a number that's going to be agreed to. And Republicans should go out and say the following, because I think the Republicans speak very inarticulately about this subject. I watched some of them without the exceptions, et cetera, et cetera. I said,
yeah, without the exception of fucking Nikki Haley, who he can't say by name now because he just shit on her and said, she's a politician. What does she know? That's the only fucking person that like speaks on abortion in a way that like makes sense.
Other than certain parts of the country, you're not going to win on this issue, but you will win on this issue.
There's maybe one part of the country where it could work, and it's not Florida. Like, maybe like Alabama or something, or Mississippi. Like one of those fucking places. I haven't looked at each individual state. No, not in Oklahoma. No, not in Utah. No, I'm telling you, dude. No shot. You guys are, dude. You don't understand. Republican motherfuckers have affairs out of marriage. They swing like in fucking Utah. People get abortions. Not in West Virginia. No shot. There are very few places. There are very few places in the United States of America. Okay. There are very few places in the United States of America where like abortion is contentious. For the record, you're saying views on abortion by most state. I don't know which. I don't know when this take is from. Okay, but yeah, Alabama. It says 37% legal in all most cases, 58% illegal in all or most cases, and then what? Fucking 4% don't know. In most states, like in Kentucky, there you go. Great fucking question. Kentucky said 36% legal in all or most cases, 57% said illegal in all or most cases. Except this poll is not correct. You want to know why it's not correct? Because we had a fucking poll, a ballot measure in the state of Kentucky where abortion protections won. Do you see what I'm saying? They voted in the exact same way that everyone in America has voted. In fucking Kentucky, 70-30 breakdown. Yeah. Even here in Alabama, it's not all pro-life, anti-choice like you would assume. If you ask them on specifics, they usually believe in some sort of legality on abortion. Not a total ban like our state has. It's honestly more 50-50 here if you talk to people. That's what I mean. Oh. Wait. Views about abortion by state. Is this like only religious people, or is this like, this is not a poll on religious people, is it? Is it a poll across the board? Regardless. That doesn't change the data. The data shows what people believe, not who's going to vote. No, that is very important. Especially because this doesn't correspond to actual polling that I've seen on single issue polls, especially recent ones in a lot of states, including red ones, where the breakdown is not like even 30%, 40%, 50%. Like this poll shows that California, 57% of Californians believe that it should be legal. Like, it's ridiculous. This poll is definitely old as fuck. There's no shot. Yeah, it says it was conducted in 2014. I've looked at this. I've looked at this poll, like not this one, but I've looked at polls like this from individual states, and I've also looked at something that's more significant than polls, a fucking election. Elections are very important. Polls are only as important as how well they can predict elections, chatters. Remember, okay? And the state's poised to put new restrictions on abortion. People tend to say that abortion should be mostly or fully illegal based on New York Times analysis of large national surveys taken over the last decade. Okay, a lot of these are still old-ass polls, man. They haven't done it recently. There's no fucking shot. Oh, Louisiana, mostly legal, 36%. Net support, minus 23 for a trigger ban, yes. Arkansas, minus 19. Maybe they shouldn't have polled this shit to get owned by voting. Well, actually, I guess, like, they did poll these, and it doesn't even fucking matter because these people were so stupid. And that's why they put this on the ballot. in a lot of places where they realized, oh shit, this actually is not working out at all. There's not a single state where the support on a federal ban of abortion. I mean, this is from Data for Progress, to be fair. Oh, this was intentionally part of a religious landscape poll. Yeah, I think this was more so just about religion in general. Polling in 2016 showed what Hillary was going to win in a landslide. Why do people put so much weight in polling data? No, polling in 2016 did not show that Hillary was going to win by a landslide. It's not even true. It did not. Here. New polling in Alabama shows primary voters split on abortion, Roe v. Wade from 2022. In Alabama, a plurality, 48% of voters say the Alabama legislature should make abortion harder to access, which doesn't mean full-blown fucking criminalization. 28% say lawmakers should make it easier to access, and 24% say lawmakers should not pass abortion laws. Even in bumfuck fucking Alabama, it's like, that is where it's actually contentious, I guess. It's nuts. An issue that is actually fucking contentious would be like 90% approval in Alabama and 50-50 in other places, or, you know, no approval in California, full approval in Alabama. Not 50-50 in certain places, and like 60-40 to 70-30 everywhere else. That's why red states, okay, are literally doing the most, the absolute most. Like in Ohio, no on issue 1 was exactly what I was thinking of. So Ohio recognized, oh fuck, putting abortion on a ballot as a ballot measure is going to drive an insane amount of people to go out and vote. An insane amount of people to go out and vote against us. Okay? Like, the abortion further criminalizing, you interpret polls in a very uneducated way, says Huge Johnson, BBC. Once again, I hate Trump, but how many polls had him winning? People that participate in polls want to be in polls. I love that. Thank you, Huge Johnson, BBC. Please give me your educated perspective on polls, Huge Johnson, BBC. Huge Johnson, BBC, the type of motherfucker to be like, this poll only sampled 3,000 people, so clearly it didn't sample every single person. It's a bad poll. Anyway, yeah, issue 1 in a red state like Ohio passed with around 60% approval, a 60% supermajority. Or, sorry, the 60% supermajority was the constitutional amendment thing, okay? But it did pass with 60% approval. That's a red state. And this wasn't even just on abortion. This was actually an issue. Okay, Ohio's not really a red state. It's a swing state. Suck my dick. Ohio, the Ohio Republican Party recognized that if they put abortion as a ballot measure in Ohio in the upcoming elections, that they're going to get fucking cooked. Okay? So, instead of like having a special election on, specifically the abortion thing, they decided to secretly make it harder to put ballot provisions on elections. Okay? This was called Issue 1, where the defeat on Issue 1 on Tuesday keeps place a simple majority threshold for passing future constitutional amendments rather than the 60% supermajority that was proposed. Its supporters said the higher bar would protect the state's foundational document from outside interest groups. That's how they sold it. The real reason why they did this is because they wanted to make it as hard as possible to impose any constitutional amendments surrounding abortion, because abortion was going to be on the ballot as a constitutional amendment. Okay? Why did they not want this? Because they know that they were going to lose, and they are most likely going to lose on this issue especially, and that abortion being on the ballot, abortion being on the fucking ballot gets more people on the Democratic side to go out and vote than the Republican side. And that's how you lose a fucking election, because when they go to protect abortion and vote to protect abortion, because Americans love voting on ballot measures, they end up voting blue up and down the ticket. And then, it makes it much harder for Republicans to control the state of Ohio. So they tried to stop that from even being on the ballot by trying to implement this. And even that, which wasn't directly on abortion, but fought on abortion boundaries, got 60% support. Okay? 60%. So, yeah, Americans are definitely very aware of abortion rights being taken away from them and are not very happy about it. There are a lot of people who vote Republican up and down the ticket and still want to be able to have abortions. There's a lot of people who think, like, it's not up to me. Why should it be up to me? I should have no say on this. The government should not interfere in my affairs. Okay? Not a contentious issue.
When you come up with the right number of weeks, because Democrats don't want to be radical on the issue. Most of them, some do. They don't want to be radical on the issue. They don't want to kill a baby in the 7th month or the 9th month or after birth. And they're allowed to do that, and you can't do that.
I have a very robust foreign policy section to get to.
Okay.
I do want to give you an opportunity to talk about some of your legal challenges. So if we could do that first, and then we'll move on to foreign policy. You are facing 4 indictments.
Biden indictment.
Yeah, look at this. Legal under any circumstance, 34%. Legal under certain circumstances, 51%. Illegal in all circumstances, 13%. 13%. Alabama's abortion provisions are tailored towards the 13% of the population. Okay? Legal under any, 34. Legal under most, 13. Legal in only a few, 36. Illegal in all, 13%. Most Americans oppose the Dobbs decision. In line with Americans wanting abortion to be legal to some degree, 61% currently say that overturning Roe v. Wade was a bad thing, while 38% call it a good thing. Those views are similar to what Gallup measured in 2022 when asking about Roe hypothetically being overturned, as well as more than 30 years of trends showing opposition to overturning Roe. Anyway. Now, the irony here, of course, is that it's very stupid to have this conversation because we're not even having a conversation about the morality of the situation. Because the morality of the situation dictates that regardless of what the fuck people have to say about abortion, that this decision should be left to a doctor and the carrier. Okay? Not a doctor, carrier, and the fucking mayor. Not a doctor, the carrier, and, Donald Trump. Not a doctor, the woman, and, your pastor. No, just a doctor and a woman. Mother equals carrier? Yeah, you fucking absolute baboon. Of course. I'm not saying mother and I'm saying carrier. Because you want to know what happens? What should have happened to you, for example? You should have been aborted, okay? Therefore, your mom would not have been a mom, but simply a fucking carrier. We know you said it like 3 times just now. You conveniently don't mention that most voters don't want unrestricted abortion laws. You conveniently don't mention that most voters don't want unrestricted abortion laws. Most Americans want some restrictions, especially in late-term pregnancies. Hey, jackass. I don't give a fuck, okay? That's number 1. Number 2, yes, if you want to stop abortions from happening in the 3rd trimester, okay, fine. Go ahead. Except you're only stopping people from being able to get this as a medical process when they most likely wanted to carry the pregnancy to term. The only thing you're punishing is people who wanted to have a child, okay? People do not get, like, abortions for fun at the third trimester. It's so stupid. This is such an idiotic fucking argument from dumbass Republicans that make it seem like the less than 1% of abortions that happen in the third trimester are happening due to fun. Like love getting an aborabo on the third trimester, gonna go to the abortion factory again, love to do it. It's my favorite thing. Okay? Like, what do you think? People just do it for fun? Is that what you think? Please go ahead, explain this to me. I'm unbanning you specifically because I want to hear what your perspective is. There is not a single state in the United States of America where abortions are legally permissible in the third trimester unless there is a health complication to the carrier or the fucking fetus. Now, if you were smart enough, you would at least say, well, doctors consider psychological disorders to be a healthcare complication for the carrier, which allows people to have a third trimester abortions, even if it's not that significant. And then at that point, you and I could discuss the semantics of like whether or not psychological harm meets the metric for medical intervention. Okay? But we're not doing that because you're a fucking idiot. Because Republicans are fucking stupid and they don't even know their talking points. Because they don't need to know their talking points because they're so fucking dumb. So they could just get away with being like, they want to fucking murder babies. And then all the fucking dumbass, goo-goo, gaga-ass, donkey brain Republicans go, oh, they want to murder babies. Bro, I'm just saying, don't manipulate the stats. You say people vote for abortion. You don't mention that most people support certain restrictions. That's all I'm saying. Oh my God. Oh my God. Dude, make better arguments. Oh my God. 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 Shut the fuck up. The counter to what he would have said in that situation, not you, dumbass chatter who thinks I'm manipulating statistics. You're a dumb fuck and irrelevant. Your point is irrelevant in this situation. You're not giving any good arguments here. You're just fucking trying to have a pedantic ass semantics conversation because you're a fucking baboon, okay? I hate that. It's just like, I just want to talk because I want to hear my voice in the fucking stupid ass chat. That's it. That's what you're doing. Most debate perverts do this. They don't actually even bring up good talking points. Okay? I had to argue with myself because you didn't bring up any good talking points. You just said, you're massaging the narrative. Shut the fuck up. Okay? The better argument for Republicans on the legislative agenda would be, instead of lying, okay, would be to say what I just told you. Okay? I would say it's not legal in any of the states where a woman can go and get a third trimester abortion. Okay? Then they would say, that's not true. It is legal in certain states. And I would say, which states? And then they would say, in certain states like New York, for example, you can get a third trimester abortion to which I would respond, well, that's only allowed, that's only legally permissible if the person has a issue, like a medical issue that requires medical intervention. It could be a psychological disorder. It could be a genuine issue like an ectopic pregnancy. It could be an issue like there's no viability outside of the carrier. So those are the legally permissible circumstances where in the state of New York you can have an abortion. Now, even with all of that, abortions in the third trimester across the board in the United States of America make up for 1% of abortions. And every single one of those circumstances has to be because medical intervention was a necessity to continue the life of the carrier, the mother to be. Okay? Do you think that's appropriate to ban? And in that situation, if you say, yes, I think it's still inappropriate, and I think that we should still ban it, well, then you're a psychopath. You've revealed your actual true position. Okay? That's it. We should be able to acknowledge that there are a few hundred third trimester abortions a year that are for reasons other than health, like the carrier didn't know they were pregnant, yeah, that is such an insanely fucking low number that it does not require having a conversation around. If you write legislation on 300 random occurrences that are also caused directly as a consequence of what do you call it? Directly a consequence of not having access to preventative care, okay? Not having access to like abortion facilities, or not having access to sex education and whatnot, then it's like an idiotic self-defeating argument to make, okay? I don't care. I'm not going to talk about like 10 fucking people that got an abortion in the third trimester because they didn't even know they were fucking pregnant, okay? This is like a medical phenomena. That's insane, dude. No, that is the dumb libtard debate pervertry tendency to just like talk about the erroneous minutia, not realizing that the overwhelming majority of Americans would, when they hear that, would go, oh, that's it, you lost the argument. Okay? That's not a thing that you voluntarily bring up, debate perverts. Know how to do better debate. Once again, it doesn't matter because technically in the law, because if you want to do that argument, it's like legality over morality. The law says you can't get a fucking abortion because you forgot that you were pregnant, okay? You have to make an argument to your medical professional that this is going to harm you.
Excuse me, Biden political indictments. He said to the Attorney General,
he's had nothing to do with it.
He said to the Attorney General, indict him. They put in the New York DA case, which everybody admits isn't even a case.
That, Mr. President.
They're Biden
there's
indictments.
No proof of that.
You know what? He started something that's a very slippery slope. He said, I've got a guy that's beating me in the polls. I'm beating all the Republicans by a lot, and I'm beating him by a lot. I have somebody that's beating me in the polls. Indict him. And they, not only that, they took their top person in the Department of Justice and put him into the Manhattan DA's office. They're dealing with Fannie Willis all the time.
Mr. President, the Attorney General appointed a special counsel to investigate you, President Biden, and President Biden's son, Hunter, who was also indicted today. But I do want to
President Biden does not fall within the Presidential Records Act. And frankly, you don't ever hear anything about the special counsel. But they gave me this deranged person named Jack Smith. He's a deranged lunatic. I fall within the Presidential Records Act. It's very simple. It's a civil thing. In fact,
Well, if women are getting abortions in the third trimester, there needs to be a mental therapist involved. Yeah. No, you can't. You've clearly never been through the process of getting an abortion. Trust me, they force you to think about it a lot. If it's in the third trimester, it's not about a psych evaluation. It's about physical necessity. No, there are instances where there's like less than 100 instances where people have gotten abortions when it's not like directly a physical need, okay? Like it's not an ectopic pregnancy. It's not a pregnancy where like the fetus is not viable outside of the womb, is like choked out in the fucking umbilical cord or whatever, and they couldn't save it. Okay? In that situation, the justification for it is a psychiatric evaluation, as far as I understand it. Okay? But again, we're talking about literally like 20 individual actions, okay? It's fucking ridiculous. 1% of abortions happen in the third trimester, and the number of how many abortions that happen in the third trimester are not directly necessary medical interventions because their fetus is non-viable outside of the fucking womb is so marginal that it's very stupid.
The New York Times, of all institutions, did a story, and it was headlined, "Please, please, please, Mr. President, could we take a look at the documents?" And they said in the story that the only way you can get documents from a president is if you go there and say please, because this is civil. And they won't even have a lawsuit. They may have a civil lawsuit at most, but they probably don't even have a civil lawsuit. And this should...
Again, it's really funny because Trump is the reason why those the crime that he committed has a worse offense because of his own actions. In an effort to make it seem like he gave a shit about Hillary Clinton's documents without actually arresting him, he literally made the misdemeanor a felony.
It never have been an indictment. There's no criminal. Now, there is criminal for Joe Biden because he was a senator.
This is my favorite argument. It's like, what I did is not allowed. What I did, I was allowed to do it, but Biden, he was not allowed. It's the best. It's the fucking best. They should not prosecute me. Biden, he didn't even do what I did. He did something much worse.
Senator, and he was a vice president.
Well, the charges you're facing don't have anything to do with the Presidential Records Act. But let me ask my question so we can get to foreign policy.
Wait a minute. This comes within the Presidential Records Act. That's what it's about.
Let me just ask these questions, and then we can move on to some other topics. You are facing 4 indictments, 91 felony charges.
If you would say it properly, I'm facing 4 Biden indictments. He told the Justice Department to indict him, or Merrick Garland said, let's indict him.
Let me ask you this, Mr. President.
They indicted their political opponent.
I just want to hear from you on this. I want to know what's in your head. When you go to bed at night, do you worry about going to jail?
No, I don't, really. I don't even think about it. I'm built a little differently, I guess, because I have had people come up to me and say, hey,
that's awesome, dude. Come on. Why? That's such a dumb question. He just fucking popped on that. I'm back. I'm voting for Trump. Sorry. He's so back. I got to run that back. That's
you on this. I want to know what's in your head. When you go to bed at night, do you worry about going to jail?
No, I don't, really. I don't even think about it. I'm built a little differently, I guess, because I have had people come up to me and say, how do you do it, sir? How do you do it? I don't even think about it. These are corrupt people that I'm dealing with. They're destroying our country. I don't even think about it. All I think about is making the country great, making America great. Look, these are political, these are Banana Republic indictments. These are third world indictments. The President of the United States sees how we're doing. We have a movement, the likes of which has never happened in this country before.
These are Banana Republic indictments.
I mean, I'm up on these people by 60 points and 59 points. I don't mean I'm at 59. I'm leading them by 59. You almost say, like, why are they campaigning? Asa Hutchinson, he's at 0. Christie's at 2. Other ones are at 1. DeSanctimonious is at 9. I just see a poll coming. I mean, I'm leading him by 60 points.
Mr. President.
And you say, why are they doing it? But here's what they did. They saw this happening. And he went to the Attorney General of the United States and he told them, indict Trump.
There's just no evidence of that, Mr.
Why?
President.
Because you mean
but let's stay on track.
Look at all the lies.
I mean, like, why are you saying that now? Where was this energy? I mean, I don't falter for saying it now, but where was the energy about the abortion thing when he was like, it's 50-50. Many people love criminalizing abortion, folks. Like, why are you pushing back so hard when fucking, when it's about big boy Brandon and how he told his fucking attorney general to indict Trump? Like, obviously that's also fake, but so is all the other shit that he said.
Mr. President, I want to talk about
Kristen, wait a minute. Wait. Could I say one thing? Look at all the lies he's told over the last couple of weeks. He said he was at the World Trade Center, and he wasn't. He said he flew airplanes, right? He didn't. He said he
Tell him, dude. He flew an airplane into the Twin Towers, he said.
Drove trucks, and he didn't. Everything he says is like a lie. It's terrible.
Mr. President,
even his handicap in golf, he said he's a 6. He's not a 6.
I want to stay focused on you.
Okay.
For the purposes of this interview, okay? Because it's important that we hear from you about all of this.
I'd like you to, but you keep interrupting me.
Tell me, Mr. President, tell me what you see when you look at your mugshot.
I see somebody that loves this country in me, that loves this country. I see tremendous unfairness. I think very few people would have been able to handle what I handled. When I was coming down the escalator with Melania, I was already under investigation because they saw how well I was doing in the polls. And it just got worse and worse. And we caught them. We said they were spying on our campaign. It turned out to be true. They had the fake dossier. That turned out to be true. It was paid for by the Democrat Party. It was all fiction. All of these things happened. Impeachment hoax number one, impeachment hoax number two. I've been treated very badly, and I've won every single time. When you say, do I sleep? I sleep. I sleep because I truly feel that in the end, we're going to win. I think we're going to win an election the likes of which nobody's ever seen before. I don't think anything's going to stop it. Nothing's going to stop it because people see what's happened to our country. We're not respected in the world. Look at other countries. Look at what's happened.
Bro, he's literally doing the same. You said this the last time. Brother, you said this the last time. Top to bottom, every single thing is the same shit.
Everybody's going to the side of China, Russia, Saudi Arabia.
Folks, I heard this HasanAbi guy. He's on the Leftovers podcast, folks. It's a big-time right-wing podcast. They say they're domestic terrorists. Now he's pro-China. Now he's pro-China. Ethan Klein, folks. He needs to do a better job defending America, folks.
Talk about that.
No,
Mr. President,
China
I want to delve into foreign
world.
policy, but let's get through this, and then I want to talk to you about all of those issues you just talked about, Mr. President. By the way, do you think your former chief of staff, Mark Meadows, is still loyal to you? He just pleaded not guilty in the Georgia
Well, I hope
case.
he's loyal to me. I mean,
do you worry about him flipping?
Wrong.
Do you worry
I didn't
about
do
him?
anything wrong.
Okay, let's talk about Georgia. I want to talk about that phone call that you made to Georgia's Secretary of State, a Republican,
By the
Brad
way,
Raffensperger.
that was even more perfect than my call to
Let's talk about it.
the president of Ukraine.
Okay.
It was a perfect call. Just before you start, many top legal scholars, almost everyone, but many have analyzed that phone call. That was a phone call made in front of, I guess, 7 or 8 lawyers. Brad Raffensperger, the head, who, by the way, last week said, I didn't do anything wrong. He said that was a negotiation. Brad Raffensperger, who I was dealing with, I appreciate that he said that, but he said last week, I didn't do anything
Let's talk
wrong.
about it so we can move on. You said in the
let
call.
me just tell you one other thing.
Okay, this is huge. This is huge. This is good. Come on.
I spoke. I knew I was probably being taped. I didn't ask, but I knew
And I still did it because I'm a fucking idiot.
I was probably being taped. You know, they illegally taped me because they taped me in Florida. It's a 2-party state. You know that, right? So they illegally taped the
Dog. You're the president. What are you saying? Bro. What? You're the fucking president. Calling up the fucking Secretary of State. Like what? Or the Lieutenant Governor. Like what are you saying? Like you can't. That's awesome. I mean, I don't know what to say about that. Baby, stop asking to move on and just move on. He doesn't respect you. Act accordingly. Calling the fucking Meet the Press CNN anchor, MSNBC anchor or NBC anchor a baby is pretty funny.
call. But forget about that for a second. I knew that there were many lawyers on the phone from the other side. There were many people. There were many people on the phone. When I told them, I said the election was rigged. I said all.
He's like, do you really think, I want Trump to ask the question, do you really think I would say something openly criminal in front of a major phone call that I assumed was being recorded? Because the answer is yes. Like, quite frankly, the answer is fuck yes. Absolutely yes. I think you would do that. But I want him to ask that question, and I want her to turn around and go, yeah, actually, I do. You kind of have a record for this sort of thing. You know? It's just, this is what you do. This is like the most Trump thing you do. You do it all the time. This is, you love doing it.
All sorts of things about the election,
And
which
they
I
told you it
believe it
wasn't.
100%.
They told you it
No, I
wasn't.
have all the facts. Look, I have all the facts. In one way, I look for it.
What happens if I want to change my gender when I'm pregnant? Where are you fucking cretins coming from? Like, actually, where?